Oh my word. Hello everyone. So model railroading update number not sure. And here's my 3D printer going through an auto calibration routine to level the bed. And I just got this going about 2 weeks ago. I printed for about 2 days, was very happy, very excited to include prints on the layout. And then my PC died that I've had for quite a while, and died pretty bad, so I lost a lot of data. I've lost my JMRI files. I have to recreate all of that. Just getting my 3D printer files back in order. Fortunately, I'm able to extract data from instructions to the machine that were on the machine to get information that I needed to put on the PC as far as profiles for materials and for the machine's dimensions and the motors in it and all this other stuff. Anyway, more later. That's the first start of the update, but here's the 3D printer, and it will be printing an LPG storage tank, part of one that I've designed, for the greater part of the day this afternoon while I work on some scenery stuff and try and film a little bit of a layout update, because I haven't done one in such a long time. But you know, there's the town section up here, Santa Maria town industrial area will go up here, and coming around here we've got the quarry's gonna go up here. You've heard about that, I think. That's new. This was plastered, so that hillside's proceeding. I've got a much better plan on how to do the portal and the little hillside that needs to blend with the modular piece. And a bunch of work going on here. And here's the new port area. Storage tracks, intermodal yard, and a working yard for the port of Fog Beach, I'm going to call it. Instead of Long Beach, Fog Beach. And this little area here, these two tracks underneath the foam and with the Exacto next to them, that's going to have an engine house on it and be Pacific Harbor Line's locomotive and switcher maintenance tracks, and a runaround for the yard. The yard's kind of got a runaround on the third track here, but it's also going to be able to run around through there. I might have it a dual bay engine house and just have this run around in the middle, but I might have it a single bay and have this front one be like a maintenance and open air maintenance area, because this is Southern California, and their engine maintenance house for Pacific Harbor Lines in the port of Long Beach is actually in like an open air structure. It's got these big louvered front and back walls, and then the sides where the trains go in and out are just totally open. There's no doors or anything. There's just no wall. It's just two walls and a big cantilevered roof, kind of like a lean-to on a huge industrial scale. So no protection from the elements or anything. You know, Southern California, they're not expecting any, I guess. But it gets some, I don't know, I've lived in Southern California. There's some weather. Rain and then wind coming off the ocean, and rain can start going pretty horizontal. So I don't know what they're doing with that. Maybe there's something I'm not aware of that covers those ends. I'll look into it. But in any case, this will be like the Pacific Harbor Line's a representation of that, kind of a proto-fantasy representation of that right in here. And that'll be the freight traffic that then heads up the UP coastline that I'm modeling with the Guadalupe Yard and the Cuesta Grade and all that. So that's a little bit of a layout update, because that's a bit new. Here's going to be the chemical industries area as well. LPG tank cars are nice. These new Athearn LPG tank cars. I think the two in back are the newer models, and that white one's a newer model, and this is one of their older models, I think. These were bought new retail. This two in back and the white one, but then this front one here was bought on a website auction. So anyway, all right. I don't want to make this too long. I might add some spot footage from areas that I'm working on before I publish it, but it's nice to have new computer, which is currently living down in there, but that's going to change. It's in a new case. It's just new everything. I've only got one small hard drive right now, and I've got a real issue. My old hard drives, data recovery is just so expensive on those. I'm going to try and do it myself, but I may lose everything. We'll see. I can't pay $800 to $1,600 to have the platters put in a new case in a clean room. That's just not happening. It's not worth it. So, oh well. Old computer gone, and gone in a bad way where I didn't get any data from it so far. We'll see. We shall see. And then the new computer, I bought parts for a new computer, and the first set of parts came bad. The motherboard was bad, and I think it killed the CPU. And I actually ordered a new copy of Windows, a full retail version, and what I got in the mail from Amazon was a bootleg copy. But Amazon was very apologetic and made everything right, and then I ended up buying just a retail copy from Microsoft, from their actual store, just to make sure it was legit, because upon actually installing Windows 10 Pro full retail, the Windows 10 Pro full retail that I bought off Amazon that came from a third-party reseller was not the software. It was definitely something shady, because the entire what do you call it, the get it going sequence, the activation screens and all the information that it asked for were slightly to very different than the actual Windows 10 activation screens and the information that Microsoft actually asks for. So I'd be careful about that. If you're going to order an operating system, order it from Microsoft or Apple. Resellers, there's not enough legal threat for there not to be apparently people injecting modified operating systems out into the world. Scary, and I've raised the issue with both Amazon and Microsoft, and I think they're going to do something about it, especially with the USB drives with the operating system on them, highly modifiable. That's what I got, and apparently it had been in other people's hands, even outside the resellers, had been returned multiple times after being used, and yeah, just a bad scene. Be careful, people, and back up your JMRI immediately. Do it this afternoon. Learn from my mistake. I ordered a external hard drive that I'm going to be using to back up, and then I'm going to be using a thumb drive as well, just for my JMRI files, maybe even two. So yeah, the update is mostly about digital model railroading and the dangers of the computer going down and losing all your files. You want to make sure you back up, and also building computers these days, be very careful where you get your operating system. I bought one off of Amazon. Should have been legit, but because they use that reseller system where a lot of people can just open up an Amazon web store, there are issues, especially with certain types of media, like a USB drive that's supposed to have a software on it that you want to purchase. Yeah, I don't know about that, because USB drives are just a flash drive that, yeah. Anyway, enough about that. A lot of railroading. So much funner than dealing with electronics. One of the reasons I'm actually doing it, and the whole digital side of it, I wish was a little more easy. Well, I wish it was a lot easier, and I wish it was a lot more intuitive. I'm sorry, but JMRI is for electrical engineers and computer scientists and coders. There really is a standard of getting to know C to be able to do scripts to make what you want happen. And I mean, I've messed with it decades in the past, but it's just not something I want to deal with. I'm capable of dealing with it, but it takes so much of my computer cycles from my old and getting older brain that it's a lot of work. And gosh, I wish there was an easier alternative. So if anyone can suggest a software that you pay for that's more intuitive and just gets it going and gets it done, I'd be into that. So anyway, not that no disrespect to JMRI, it's great for people that can handle it, but I want to focus that energy that I would have to spend on JMRI on doing beautiful detailed scenery and on doing scratch-built locomotives and freight cars and on doing 3D modeling CAD work for all kinds of buildings and structures and even little people, because I actually bought an SLA resin printer. I found a really good deal on them and they're getting cheap. I bit the bullet and bought one of those too, and that arrived just before the computer died as well, and it was all just, whoa man, can't believe my computer died, and now everything is on hold, but it's getting back going and I'm getting some scenery done, and alright, we'll just call it a day at that, because I'm just having people stare at this mess while I rant about the more annoying aspects of model railroading in the digital technological era that we live in. So with that, let's show off a couple of 3D prints real quick. This is a 3D print I did. It's a rough, quick model. Just threw it together in a few minutes in Fusion 360 for what would be an LPG tank in the harbor. I'd throw some, like a pipe coming out of the top. I haven't done that yet. I'm not going to keep this one because it printed pretty rough. I'm still figuring out that. As far as I haven't used the printer in so long that I gotta get to know it again. These are some 3D prints off of Thingiverse. There's a little transformer house. Actually printed pretty well. It's got details, just white filament. I think gray would be better, more neutral. This is gonna make things, it's gonna make any paint I put on it really bright. But it might be okay because white's nice, you don't have to fight it when you're painting over it. And in most cases you actually want that, like on a canvas, you want vibrancy coming through and reflectivity of light and saturation. But I'm not sure with buildings and stuff. We'll see. Designed this little building. It's just a shell. It's rough print. Ladder. This is actually, I'm real glad about this. That my FDM printer that's not that accurate for stuff this small. It'll do nice little N-scale ladders and railings and things like that. So I'll be doing a lot of that. I designed tops for these juice cans that I painted white, and I just popped this in the top, and then I'm going to put a piece of 3mm aluminum tubing coming down off that to be the vertical hose. But right now I'm using a straw that I got at the store when I bought a soda, or is this smoothie. There's these new paper disposable straws with wax on the inside, and people whining about them being soft after a while. It's like, geez, how long are you sucking on that straw? It was fine for me. I had a really large smoothie, got through the whole thing over the space of like 20 minutes or something. The straw was fine. Paper straws with wax on the inside, it's great. No plastic. I'm sold. It totally works. If someone's chewing on their straw for like an hour, like, get another one, get two. They're just paper straw. Like, yeah, I mean, just get two and then you'll have a fresh one halfway through. Whatever. It's like way better than dumping plastic on the ground after using it for 5 minutes. So anyway, that's that. Some 3D prints, and maybe let's go down here real quick and look at the most successful of the 3D prints. Just little concrete barriers, just little J barriers like on a highway, but they came out good. And I put one of those transformer houses. I got those off Thingiverse. I'll post a link. In a future update. I got a lot to do. But yeah, I'll post links for all the 3D print stuff in a future update just about 3D printing. But for now, these little J barriers came out okay. They're kind of rough. I can improve that with just refining the profile for the material as it goes through the machine. It's basically the temperature and the speed that you printed at. And I'll refine that and they'll look even better, and then I'll cover them with a little bit of like drywall spackle or something that's gray. They'll look great. Real easy. And I did do some fascia on this area. It's not fully complete. I gotta bend a piece around that. Actually, I gotta cut this, trim this, kind of redesign this area a little bit. I might actually expand this. I'm not sure. I need room in here. It's my closet. I need to be able to get in and get stuff. But yeah, fascia on the front of the layout is making me feel a little bit better about things. Here's a scale trains ES44AC or CW45AH or whatever that is. same train, same locomotive, different monikers for different railroads, I guess, is what's going on there. Maybe some slight different details, but anyway, it's really nice. It even came with a couple of issues, like the horn was bent. I think I got a return because there was two seals on the package. One had been cut, and then another seal on the package put over that. So it was like someone sent it back to Scale Trains, and then they sent it back onto me, and there were some issues, but I chose to keep it because the issues were minor and I can fix them. And I just really don't like when people return stuff and then people don't fix it and just send it on. And sometimes I see what's wrong is so minor. I'd rather just fix it and take it out of that cycle of that bad warehouse person that just isn't representing the company well. And then, you know, the frustrated customers, it's like, I'll just deal with this, get this off your hands and take care of it since you guys are being lame about it. So this thing's going to be fine. I'll deal with any little bent parts with the heat gun or something, or freaking SLA 3D print a new horn. Like if there's a different horn that they ever used on a Union Pacific one, maybe I'll just do that. Some prototype horn or something. I don't know, but that one's definitely bent upwards. It's not bugging me though. It's just not bugging me. I don't think I'm a rivet counter. I like super detail, but if it's not, like my Kato locomotives, they don't bother me in the least. They're great. I love them. So yeah, I'm just not biased and stuck up and elitist. If it's cool, I like it. And super detailed is super cool. I love it. And slightly less detail, like this BLI, but still really detailed is super awesome. And then, you know, like these Katos over here, they're freaking great as well. I love these things. And they're not as detailed, but I can add those details. I'm going to be putting some antenna details and painting them up and making them look a little bit better. Maybe make my own hand rungs and stuff out of just bending some wire. I mean, on one of these, let's see, one of these, I think it's that one. This Athearn tank train car. If I can get the focus. This little guy was missing. This little piece here, and that's a recreation out of brass wire. Instead of like that part there, which looks just tiny bit slightly different. You can, if you get in with the magnifying glass, you can see a little representation of a latch on like the pipe holder. And my brass wire version is just kind of like close enough. Paint it black, it's all good. You know, if it was all ad hoc, then it would look a little wonky, but just replicating one part because that was literally not implied at the factory, no big deal. And then if I take my time and I can make some handrails and grab rungs that are like nice, geometrically like straight, lined up and all that, I can do an even better job than that. That was like my first attempt at bending a little brass wire. It came out okay, but I can do better. So scratch building, definitely on the table. I want to scratch build my own complete freight cars for some things. I looked at the new, I think it's Boston Limited Imports or somebody came out with cryogenic tank cars, but they're all kind of 70s and 80s models. Maybe they're 90s models, but they're not the ones that they currently run. And I need modern. I think I'm going to model those on the computer, and those will be some of my first resin prints. Will be my own custom cryogenic tank cars, because my rail line is near Vandenberg Air Force Base, and they do a lot of rocket launching there, and they're going to have cryogenic tank cars coming in there to give them like liquid oxygen and stuff, and I want that represented on my railroad. I really want to do a Vandenberg section, but it's just, I'm not sure I really have room for that. But we'll see. Maybe someday I'll get a crazy notion and add another section. Anyway, alright, we're going to call it quits there now that we've done a real full layout update, get a view of some of the weathered rolling stock and locomotives, and just look around at some of the things that I'm bought. Got some of these microtrains, SP, well cars, a Kato container lifter, but I'm not sure it's the right type for these intermodal yards. They don't use those kind in California. They use like the reach lifter type. So I'm going to have to sell that on eBay, or just, I don't know, I just keep it in the closet or something. Put in the box, use it if I ever model like a European or Japanese port or something, I don't know. Or I'll just put it out there and not worry about it. This don't go there. We don't need to see that, but it does kind of go with that set. I'm just leaving them there. They're going to use up top on the top layout. They're going to go right in there. It's going to be a fault line with some rock exposed. These sections are going to be rocks. Alrighty, that's 20 minutes of rambling and ranting about the layout, a lot of it about the computer dilemma that's being solved. Anyway, more updates, better updates to come that'll be more focused on specific aspects. This is just kind of the emotional dump from the drama of not having any trains to run because my JMRI installation is gone, and yet I will continue, just do landscaping work, get my digital technological stuff in order, and then press onward with my eventually computer controlled layout. So cheers everybody, happy modeling. I hope your computer situations all work out well. Back up, one more reminder, back up your JMRI files. Trust me, you really want to do it. I really wish I had. So yeah, that and anything else you got that you really just realized if you didn't have tomorrow you'd be super bummed. Alright, cheers, happy modeling, take care all, bye bye.